A woman was kissing a man while another woman was covering her eyes. At this time, a maid arrives and starts recording what was happening. She then walks away and leaves him kissing there. At that moment, the woman says that the kiss was very good and that she felt something different about him. She then asks what the man thought about that, but the man was already outside the room. At that moment, the man's brother appears and asks what he was doing there. The man said he was just seeing if the woman needed anything. The brother then thanks him and says that he would go see his wife, but the man says that he cannot come in. The brother asks why, but the man says that he would have bad luck if he saw his wife before the wedding. The brother says he didn't care about that, but the man says he couldn't go into the room. The brother asks what it would be and the man says that when he went to see if the woman needed anything, she ended up kissing him. He then gets mad about it, but the man says he was just saying that so his brother would know. He then says that his brother doesn't need to be mad about that, but the brother insists on entering the room. When he enters, the woman says that her husband could not see her before the wedding, but the man tells her to tell him the whole truth. She then asks what her fiancé was talking about and the fiancé tells the other woman to leave them alone so they can talk. Meanwhile, the other woman was telling the man that she had done everything they agreed. She then says that now it was time for him to pay her and so the man hands the money to the other woman. She takes the money and says it was a pleasure doing business with him. The man then says that she had done a great job, and then she leaves. Meanwhile, the groom asks if she loved him, but the woman asks what her groom was talking about. He says he thought his wife loved him very much, but she says she didn't understand and says she loved her fiancé very much. He then asks if she loved him so much, why did she kiss his brother, but she says she doesn't understand. He then says that she couldn't deny it, because her mouth was stained with lipstick, but she says that it was just a mistake and that her fiancé should believe her. He then says that it wasn't a mix-up, because he didn't look like his brother, but she said that it was a mistake and that he should believe her. The groom tells her to stop trying to deceive him and that next time, she should think of a better excuse, but she asks her groom to believe her. But at that moment, the other woman arrives and asks if everything was okay, as the wedding would already be starting. The woman then tells her friend to tell her fiancé that she had covered her eyes and that it was a mistake. The man then asks if that was really true, but the other woman says she didn't know what she was talking about. The woman then tells her friend to tell the truth. She says that she would tell the truth and that her wife should tell her fiancé that she wanted to kiss her brother-in-law. She says it's about time the man knew who he was marrying. She then says that was a lie and that her fiancé couldn't believe that, but he says he thought she was different. She then says that her fiancé couldn't believe that as it was a lie, but the man says that he couldn't believe his wife anymore. He then leaves the room and meets with his brother. The brother then tells the man to listen to him, but the man does not listen and leaves. At that moment, the maid tells the man that they needed to talk, but he says he doesn't have time for that. She then says that she knew the whole truth of what had happened, but he says that he didn't care. She then said that she knew the whole truth and that her boss needed to believe her, but the man says that the maid's job was just to wash and tidy the house and that she was doing intrigue around the house. He then says that if the maid liked to intrigue so much, she was in the wrong place and asks her to leave his house. The woman then asks how her friend could do that to her, because she had seen the whole truth and could tell her fiancé. The other woman then says that she didn't deserve to marry the man, as he deserved to marry a better woman than her. She says that the man deserved an elegant and intelligent woman and that the woman was neither of those things. She says that the other woman was supposed to leave and never come back, as she never wanted to see her again. The woman then starts crying and at that moment, the brother arrives in the room and asks if they could talk. She then takes a deep breath and asks what her brother wanted, as he had ruined the best day of her life. He then tells her to calm down, because everything had an explanation, but she says that it didn't have an explanation. She says the man had humiliated her and ruined the best day of her life for nothing. She says he had ruined her life. The brother then says that he had done all that because he was always in love with the woman. He says that whenever he thought of her, his heart filled with joy and that he couldn't stay away from her anymore. He said he always wondered why she was with her idiot brother, but that now they had the opportunity to be together. She then tells her brother not to approach her as she would never leave the man to be with him. She then kicks her brother out of the room and then starts crying for everything that had happened that day. At that moment, someone knocked on the bedroom door and the woman started screaming, telling whoever was there to leave. She then opens the door and realizes it was the maid and is relieved. The maid then says that she was just there to say goodbye, but the woman doesn't understand that and asks what happened. The maid then says that the man had just fired her. The woman then starts crying, saying that that day was very bad, because her marriage had been ruined and now the best maid she had was sent away. She then asks what she had done for all that to happen to her. The maid then says that the woman hadn't done anything, so she had tried to say that to the man, but that he didn't care what she had to say. She then shows her cell phone and says that she had proof of that, and then the woman is very happy and says that the maid would be able to save her marriage. They then show the man a video, whereupon he apologizes to the woman, saying that he doesn't know how he can believe his brother's lies. She then said that she didn't care about that, because now the man knew the whole truth and that the important thing was that they were together. She then says that she loved the man a lot and he says that he loved her too. They then laugh and thank the maid. The man then apologizes to the maid for the way he had treated her, as she just wanted to help and he was rude to her, but the maid says he didn't need to apologize. He then says that he didn't want her to leave, but the maid says she would think about staying there. The man says that now, she was part of their family and that when they had children, they would need someone to help them. The maid then asks if she would get a pay raise and he says yes. The woman then laughs and asks her fiancé what they were going to do with his brother. The man then tells her not to worry as he already knew what he was going to do with his brother. He says he had a really good idea for that. Some time later, the brother goes up to the woman and asks if she wants to speak with him. She said that she had given it a lot of thought and now she had a surprise for him. He is then very happy and the woman says that before, he needed to be blindfolded, because she had a surprise for him. He soon accepts her blindfold, and then takes the blindfold and covers her eyes. She says her brother couldn't see anything and he says she could trust him as he couldn't see anything. At that moment, the brother starts to kiss what the maid was giving him and then he said that kiss was very good. She then asks if her brother enjoyed the kiss and he says he enjoyed it a lot. At that moment, the man puts something in front of his brother's face and then the brother asks if he could remove the blindfold. The woman says that he could withdraw and, at that moment, the brother is surprised by all that. They then start laughing at what happened there and then the brother asks why they are laughing. He then says that they were very bad people for doing that. The woman then says that that was for him to learn, because he had done something very bad with his brother. He says that was little and that his brother had always thought that he was better than him, but the brother says that that was not true and that he was better than his brother. The man then starts to tell his brother that he worked in his company and that company was not inherited from his parents. He says he never wanted to see his brother in that company again, because he couldn't hear his voice anymore without getting irritated about it. He then says that he also didn't want to see his brother in his house or he was going to have to kiss his dog again. They then begin to celebrate and then tell the dog that he had done a great job and that he deserved to be rewarded for that. Some time later, the maid is cleaning the house when they arrive and say they have a present for her. He then hands the maid the gift and she is very happy about it. He says that gift was for everything she had done for them, and the woman says they were only together because of her. The man then says that he had another present for the maid, but she says that she already received one. He then says he would double the maid's salary and that makes her very happy. The woman says that now the maid would be able to send her children to a better school, and the man says that she deserved it, because now she was part of their family. The maid then says that now they could toast together for a better future, and the woman agrees. The maid then said that she needed him to know that working there was her life. They then hug and the man says that now everything would work out for them.